guys, I'm Anita and I'm back with another video. Today I want to share with you a TBR of Bookopoly, but I want to say that I have changed a little bit about how I want to do Bookopoly in the future. Not that I don't want to do it, but I want to also be able to, as I've said before, I want to be able to do sort of fun little things that I feel like doing, and I want to do it at the minute that I think about them, more or less, if I can. As soon as I can after I think about it, so I don't have to postpone it. So I'll still do Bookopoly, and then I'll read them, and I'll do another round of Bookopoly when I'm done with those books. So it could take a month, or if I don't have any other plans I think about, or it could take a month and a half. We will see. So it's going to change my TBR format. It's probably not going to be as frequent as I did before, but I still want to do little TBRs here and there. So today we are going to be doing Bookopoly, and I will show you a clip of how I chose my books for today. Last time for Bookopoly I landed on a YA novel, so that's where I'm starting today. In case my cat comes around, I have her toy from last time. I decided to go with a magnetic bookmark instead as my sort of pointer thing, and then we'll see if she can let that be. Yeah, but let's get rolling. The first one is 9. A community chest. Read a Danish book, it says. Hold on, I don't know if it will focus today. It didn't want to do that last time, so we will see. Now you can see it, yeah. A 3. And a chance card, so it's gonna be one of those days. I have Trouble in Mudbug, which is a cozy mystery by Jenna Delion. And 8. Let's turn it around so you can see where I'm landing. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. A manga, so I need to go to the library now. Nice to know. I had a double, so we have an extra roll. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and a middle grade. And an 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Another community chest. And read a Danish book. I don't want to do that twice. That's boring. I'm gonna take another one. A booktuber recommends from books like War this time. Yeah. And finally we have a 9. And a big book plus 500 pages. So, but I had one double today, so I had I had 6 books in totals picked out for me, but they were generally good picks because they weren't the worst at all, not in any way. So the first roll was read a Danish book, and I thought long and hard about it, because I actually do have a book that is that I actually started on. That's a Danish fantasy book that I'm really eager to read. But on the other hand, I had a prompt that was read a 600-page book, and I have a different one I want to read for that. But so I decided to go with another one. That's also a continuation of a Danish series, so I decided to go with Dæmonens Spind, or The Demon's Web by Mikkel Vendelbo. This is the second book in the Anya Fabel series. It's a very, very quick read. The first one was, at least. I read that during a readathon, Dewey's, and I finished it in a couple of hours. It's 300 pages, this one, and it's a sort of a fantasy dinosaur fae blend. In the first one we followed, I believe there were 3 brothers. Or no, they weren't brothers, they were friends, but they were had a sort of brotherly bond to each other, I believe. But they went on a quest to find some things and ended up in Fae world. and is now living amongst the Fae and also dinosaurs. So it's a fun little world alongside everything, and I'm looking forward to see what will happen. I know he's not afraid of killing off characters. He told me that when I was at a reading event with him, so we'll see what happens. But I'm definitely very eager to read on in the series. The next prompt I landed on was a chance card, so it was already picked for me, and it was a Kindle book. It is Trouble in Mudbug by Jana Delion. I've read a book by her before. Actually, I've read 2 books by her, both first in the series, so it's probably not a good idea to start a new series, but since I put this on, I can't really change it around. I read another cozy mystery of hers before, and it was really good, and I read an intrigue novel, which was also good. So I know that she can write good, decent mysteries, so I'm definitely looking forward to reading this one. Next up, I landed on manga, and I wanted to read the next Full Metal Alchemist. I'm so close to being done, and then I checked my library to check it out, and they don't have other volume. They've removed all volumes from volume 8 and upwards, so I don't know what happened there, and I was really sad. So I decided to go with a Fruits Basket volume instead, and I'll be reading volume 12 of that. So I've reserved it from the library, but I also have seen that they have gotten a lot of manga on Overdrive or Libby that I'm interested in reading, so I will definitely try and check those out when I get around to reading manga again. And I actually do have a really big load of manga on an e-reader, but yeah, never got around to read any of those. The next one I landed on was middle grade, and for that one I decided to go with Gauntlet by Runa Riazi. I've had this one on a sort of longer TBR list for a long time, I feel like. It's a very short book. It's sort of a new version of Jumanji, where a game comes to life and stuff. So I think that's concept sounds really cool. I did really enjoy the old Jumanji film, but I also like the revamped ones that they did with Jack Black and the other Rock and stuff. They were fun. The next one I landed on was the community chest, and I picked read a book to recommends, and this one was books like War. And so I was thinking about some of her favorite authors and stuff, and I know that she loves the Side Changing series by Nalini Singh, so I picked up the next one in that series. So I picked up Keras by Ice by Nalini Singh. This is a paranormal romance series blended with a little bit of sci-fi elements, and it's really interesting, and I'm looking forward to reading on in the series. I definitely enjoyed the first books, so I will look forward to see what will happen with the other characters in here. And last and finally, I landed on big book, read a big book over 500 pages, and so I decided to go with The Will of the Many by James Islington. I recently hauled this book, and everyone seems to love this one, everyone who's reading it, so I'm scared a little bit that of going in with too high expectations, but I'm really looking forward to reading it, and it's 600 pages, so it definitely is a longer one. I love the maps in here, they're very pretty. So I will be reading that. I have a week's worth of vacation in March. Hopefully I can get through a good chunk of that over those days, but we'll see. So yeah, anyway, those were my Bookopoly picks. Now let's talk about a little bit about some audiobooks that I'm planning on reading over the next coming time. I have obviously the March picks for the Stack in a Series ready. First off, we have the next book in the Index series. I know that I should actually be a book further on, but I will try and catch up eventually, and I don't mind if I'm a little bit behind with one book. I still am reading 9 books from the series this year. It's just that I didn't get to the book that I wanted to with the start of the series. But anyway, I want to read Treachery in Death by J.D. Robb, the 32nd or 3rd book in the Index series. I love these books so much. And then the next one I also have to read for Stack in the Series was The Moving Finger by Agatha Christie, book 3 of the Miss Marvel series. And then I have another middle grade on my list, which is A Gust of Gloom and the Four Terrors, which is a very short little audiobook. And finally we have The King of Atolia by Megan Wellen Turner. I loved the second one in this one. I really enjoyed it, so I can't wait to read on in the series. So yeah, good for selection. They're very short audios relatively. The longest one is Treachery and Death. So I will probably get through those books really fairly easily. So I put up, I don't really want to do the Goodreads Choice Awards thing any longer. I bowed out of that. It's just because of the books that I've picked up so far, they haven't really been my favorite kind of books. So I thought, I was like, yeah, no, I'm just gonna skip that part and read books that I want to read. So I looked into what things I think I want to read for the next coming time, and some of those, the first one I have is Both Feet in the Grave by Janine Frost. This is book 8 in the Night Hunters series. I loved the Night Hunters universe. The Night Hunters series is my favorite, and it follows Cat and Bones, and apparently this book is a book from Bones' perspective. So I'm very eager to read that, and hopefully it'll be good. Then I have A Conjure Island by Eden Royce. Eden Royce wrote one of my favorite middle grades I've read in a long time, which was called Root Magic. I love that one, so I really want to read another one, and it's also narrated by Barney Turpin, who's one of my favorite narrators. So I definitely want to listen to this one. I think it's going to be quite good. And then I talked about in a recent video where I talked about that I want to read more by Alyssa Kleypas. So I decided to now push myself to read the first book in the Hathaway series, which is called Mine Till Midnight. And definitely interested in reading that one. And then we have a continuation of a different series, which is About Time by Jodie Taylor. This is a time police series that consists of currently 4 books are out, and there's going to be a 5th one coming out later in the year. So I'd like to read this so I can be ready for the 5th one. And finally, before Christmas, back in November, I have a bubble in my throat. I started on Gerald's Game by Stephen King, so I'd really like to actually finish that, continue with my Stephen King project, and in that way move on with it. So those are some of the audio choices that I have on my list for the foreseeable future. I probably will also read some ebooks along the way, but I have some ideas for some. I mean, I have one ebook here, but I will have some ideas for a blog that I have there where I'll definitely read some romancy books. So we'll see what happens with that. Anyway, what are some of your plans for March? Let me know in the comments down below. Have you read any of the books that I'm planning on reading, or what were your thoughts on them? Also let me know about that. And I hope you don't mind that I changed the format of the Bookopoly a little bit. But yeah, if you like the video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you in my next video very soon. Bye.